following is intended only for mature audiences.
Open your ears and lube up your butthole. It's time for the What Do We Call It podcast. Now, here's your host. It's Jmann. Welcome to the What Do We Call It podcast. I'm Jmann.
This is Steiny.
How you fellas doing?
I'll paint a picture for you of the situation beforehand. It's a Friday. I'm at work. I'm going to go for a walk on my lunch break. And it's warm enough. I can get by in a jacket with my hood up and my gloves on. So I'm doing that. And it was nice to walk that day because I don't think I'd walked for 3 days. I get 5 fucking blocks away from the building. And my phone rings. And I'm like, hello? They're like, oh, this is so-and-so. I'm like, I'm sorry, say that again, but slower. I'm calling from your son's school. I'm his teacher. No one's picked him up. And class ended 25 minutes ago. And he says grandma's supposed to come get him. My wife's mother.
Okay,
I'm
I was
like,
going to ask which one.
Did you call her? We did, but she's not picking up. I'm like, did you call her cell phone or the house? Oh, we called a 612 number. I'm like, well, that's her cell phone. So let me try the house. I'll call you right back. I call the house. There's no fucking answer. I text my wife. I'm like, your mom was supposed to pick up the boy. She no-showed. I can't get a hold of her. What the fuck?
Pretty basic.
So I call the school back. I'm like, okay, so what are the options here? She's like, well, there's another class that gets out at 2. I'm leaving at 1. I can put him in that other class, and then, you can pick him up when that one gets out, if need be. I'm like, well, his mom can't leave work, and I'm supposed to work till 4:30. You know what? I'm on my way. I'm on my way. Screw it. I'm on my way.
Right.
I jogged back the 5 blocks. There was a lot of fucking ice on that sidewalk, those 5 blocks, and I can't believe I didn't tear an ACL or slip and crack my head open.
Should have come prepared with skates or something, huh?
I was fucking determined because I'm like, I have been on lunch for 20 minutes. I have 40 more minutes. So if it's 15 minutes to get there, and then I bring him to my mother-in-law's or the daycare lady, whatever, and then I get back, I'm within my hour time frame. I get back in the car. I'm leaving work. I hop on 610. All of a sudden, I get to about Regent, I think it is the last one before you get to the 252 split.
It's actually Noble.
Noble. Yeah. Well, there's a sign that tells you about traffic conditions.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden it says, accident up ahead, East River Road, expect delays. Fucking gridlock. I called my boss. Like, I had to call the warehouse and be like, hey, I need you to pass me through to so-and-so. And they did. He's like, what's up? I'm like, here's the situation. I got a phone call about 10 minutes ago from my son's preschool. My mother-in-law is MIA. She did not pick him up. My wife is at work and can't leave. She's got a full calendar today till 4 p.m. I'm going to go and pick him up, and then I'll be right back. He's like, oh, okay. I'm like, or not, because like this is happening in real time with the slowdown while I'm on the phone with him. I'm like,
of course.
oh,
right?
shit. He's like, what? I'm like, I'm on 610, and I just rounded the corner, and holy shit, it's a parking lot. I obviously won't be back within the hour. I got to go pick him up. I don't have anybody else to pick him up.
Right.
He's like, well, I mean, you're stuck, so you got to do what you got to do. I'm like, I hate to do this on a Friday. Everybody's going to be wicked pissed. Because I was in the middle of doing this project where I have sheets of paper, 12 barcodes per page. Each barcode is an order for a different customer, direct to patient. I had 4 pages, I think, or maybe 5. So, a lot.
Okay.
I had done half. I had pulled all the shit and boxed up and shipped, like I packed and shipped half of it. So the other half was waiting for my return. I never got to do it.
Oh, wow.
So I felt like an asshole, and it's not even my fucking fault.
Right.
Okay, so I'm sitting there in traffic, and we're going so fucking slow. And I can see flashing lights on both sides. And 610 on the bridge over the Mississippi is 4 fucking lanes wide.
Yeah, it's a wide bridge.
So there's a lot of people fucking sitting here. And this is like before Christmas. So there's people in town for that exact purpose. right?
I might have seen it going the other way that day.
By the time I get up to the accident, it's literally gone.
They already cleared it.
They fucking cleared it, and there's not a sign of anything. I'm like, what the fuck just happened? And I drive to my son's school. Now, he goes to preschool at some small little Lutheran church that my wife sends him to that costs a bunch of money to go there, $1,000.
Jeez. Wow.
Yeah.
Huh.
And that's just for like a few months, 3 days a week. Now, his sister went there, and his oldest sister, all three of her kids have now gone there.
So that's part of the deal.
Yeah, it's fucking Jesus bullshit, yeah. She's not even churchy. It's just they get indoctrinated with a little bit of Jesus. And oddly enough, his sister, my 5-year-old little bug, she knows, Daddy doesn't believe in Jesus. It stems from a conversation we had once where we were in the hallway upstairs. She comes running around the corner, and I went, ah, and scared her. Like she almost ran into me. Okay. She goes, Jesus! And I went, there is no Jesus, only Zool. Which is funny to you and me because we have a base of reference from Ghostbusters,
yep.
And she's 5 and she fucking doesn't.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm just kidding. There really is no Jesus because I don't believe in him. Sorry. So that's how I explained atheism to my 5-year-old.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Back to the story. I get there, I pick up Junior, and we get in the car. He's like, Dad, Grandma did not come to get me. Because he's at a stage where he can form words better, but also still sounds like a Japanese man.
Sure, yeah.
Like
Broken
fucking
English.
A young Pat Morita on MASH. And I'm like, well, dude, we got to go check on Grandma. And we did. Like, we went to her house. As I'm pulling up the street, I see her car. I'm like, uh-oh. He's like, what is wrong? I'm like, Grandma's car's there. So maybe she's just taking a nap.
Right. Let you go check first.
I pull in the driveway. I keep the car running for him. I knock on the door. There's no answer. Now, her sister, who has Down syndrome, who also lives there still, has a dog that they got her as a present a few years ago. That dog is losing its fucking mind barking.
Oh, God.
Because I'm knocking.
Right.
Right? And I'm like, knocking and saying, Ma, are you home? Hello? And I try to go around the house to fucking look in the windows. She's got all the shades drawn. There's
Perfect.
one window in the dining room, but there's a bunch of shit piled in front of it. Because my wife has way too many belongings in that house right now.
Sure.
I can't fucking see. And it's dimly lit, but I can't tell if the TV's on or not. I go back to the door. I knock and knock and knock. Now the dog's barking sounds semi-distressed. I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ. I don't have a spare key. So I'm just like, what the fuck? And I call my wife, and I'm like, your mom is not answering the door. She's like, well, she's not answering for me either. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, okay, I'll keep trying. And at this point, I'm in panic mode because I don't want to be the one that finds my mother-in-law dead, because it's going to put quite a damper on the holidays if that's the case.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people don't like their mother-in-law, and it would be a dream scenario for them. She and I have a very weird love-hate relationship. But anyways, I'm fit to be tied. I go to walk back to the car to tell my son that Grandma's not answering the door, and I see the neighbor pull up next door. He gets out of his car and goes right in the garage. Like, hey, how's it going? Oh, fuck. Doesn't even hear me. He must be in the zone.
Sure.
I don't know. He's had a long day.
Maybe he's got a photo finish. He's got to go to the bathroom, really.
Or he spent the last hour fucking staring at OnlyFans on his phone on the drive back from work. And now he's in, all right, gotta not think about foot fetish shit while I talk to the wife. A minute later, a red car comes down the street. I don't know this car. And it starts pulling up slowly to the driveway. I'm like, oh, shit. Is this my sister-in-law, the one with Down syndrome? And is this her ride home from work?
Okay.
Because she goes to a day program that does employment placement. No. It's my mother-in-law riding shotgun in her sister's car.
Are you fucking kidding me?
And she gets out. She's like, what are you doing here? I'm like, I had to pick up the boy. She's like, oh, did I forget? I'm like, yeah. Yeah, I kind of had to leave work. And when I got here, your car was here, and you weren't answering, and I thought the worst.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, the ringer must be off on my phone. She's so fucking cavalier and nonchalant about this shit, and I'm trying to not lose my mind here. Like, what the
Right.
fuck is your problem? You forgot to pick up a child. And you're just like, oh, my ringer must be off. So where were you? Oh, we were just at Costco getting some groceries. God damn it. Really? And I'm explaining to her, I'm like, you have to understand that I knocked on the door and the dog sounds upset barking. And I was afraid you fell down or something. And I don't have a key. And I'm starting to get like misty-eyed because I was legitimately worried
Right?
And she's like, but I'm fine, but thank you. And I give her a hug, which we don't really hug often.
Okay.
But she let me hug her. And I'm like, I'm just so goddamn happy that you're okay. I thought the worst. She's like, I'm sorry. And then I helped her unload like 9 24-packs of flavored water.
Ooh, gross.
Yeah. Well, I don't know why. That's
LaCroix or whatever that crap is?
Yeah, some shit like that. And then her sister obviously is, hi, how are you? Because I haven't seen her in a while. And then they want to talk to the boy who's in the back seat strapped in. Like, it just becomes this fucking social hour. And I'm like, dude, I just fucking had to burn PTO I didn't technically want to use because I'm really low right now because you didn't fucking show up.
Well, and then you did all this other crap when she finally did, like...
Yeah, like I
groceries.
fucking handled my business. And then when I told my wife, she's like, really? She was not happy. She's like, oh boy, I'm going to talk to her.
Oh,
and
okay.
when my wife got a hold of her, here's how my mother-in-law answered the phone. Oh, I guess I'm fired, huh? Like, motherfucker, are you serious? It'd be one thing if you were like 55, you're 74 fucking years old, and your husband's in memory care now. So there's a lot of times where you're home alone, and you have wood floor in the entryway and the stairs going up to your bedroom.
She
And
still
then-
navigates those, huh?
And she's not like fall prone, but she's getting to that range where if it happens, it ain't going to be good.
Well, especially not on wooden steps.
And she's a breast cancer survivor, so fun point of fact, she only has one tit.
Well, I guess that helps with the visual picture.
Yeah, so when she wears a t-shirt, it kind of like sits funny on her chest. You can tell it's a uniboob, but not like in the middle. Useless fact. Enjoy that, whatever.
Cycloboob?
Yeah.
Cyclops boob. Right in the
Yeah, she
middle.
doesn't have like one boob in the middle of her chest that looks like an eye just
You mean
staring
when they cut
at
one
you.
off, it just doesn't migrate to the center?
It
Like,
does
doesn't
not.
balance?
They don't
Oh.
try to like stretch it and sew it over across, so it just looks like a fucking cyclops with Down syndrome.
Right? Marge's face smeared across when she got the discount t-shirt.
Yeah. What a fucking shitty scenario. That I was like, you know what, buddy? Let's go get Taco Bell. And we did. And then we went to Cheapo. And then we came home. And then I waited for the other kids to come home. They're like, Dad, why are you here? Wait, what's he doing here? I'm like, funny you should ask.
And now they get the story.
Grandma did not pick him up. I had to leave work early. I bet you there's at least 3 people that want to kick me in the dick right now.
Monday should be fun.
Well, the good thing was that there wasn't a heavy workload otherwise. They got out of there at the regular fucking time or just before. Nobody seemed to be too pissed, and my boss didn't like say anything. That's one thing that I don't like about my boss. If I'm out sick, he doesn't say anything other than, oh, he's not going to be here today.
Oh, he doesn't give the reason to everybody
Yeah, he's just
else?
like, oh, Jay called in sick. Because one day my son was sick, and the next day I was feeling it too.
Sure. Yep,
And it's just
that
like,
happens.
fuck, can you say something? Like, if I died in a car accident, you'd be like, oh, well, he doesn't work here anymore. Like, how are you going to play that off? Are you going to fucking explain it to these people that I've worked with for going on a year and a half?
Right.
Where we have some sort of emotional bond and dependency on each other? I'm not like the guy that started a week ago and they're like, oh, that fucker didn't work out and had a big shock. And then I had to go get my other daughter. So I'm crisscrossing town multiple times. It was a shit
It
of
was
a
a
day.
busy afternoon.
Yeah, it fucking sucked.
It went from a nice relaxing walk to a tornado of shit.
Oh, you have no idea, because it gets worse. But that's the next episode that this leads into. Interact with the show on Twitter at What Do We Call It. That is at What Do We Call It. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/group/What Do We Call It podcast show. For the What Do We Call It podcast, I'm Jmann.
This is Steiny.
And that's the end.